Hello, everybody, and welcome to Secular Ultra Quran, your one-stop shop for everything secular, ultra, and Quran. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering Surah 2, verses 178 through 203. Oof. That works. That all works.
Yep.
And, you know...
It's the beginning of a new month.
Oh, it is. It is the beginning of a new month. Yeah.
So we do a tiny bit of
a little bit of that.
So in here.
I tomorrow it's me and we're also gonna have a few other people getting together with Aaron and not in person. It's all gonna be like Zoom or something. And we're going to be talking about Jesus and fulfilling prophecies. I'm not sure when the video is going to be out completely, but that's something that is in the works. So I have quite a bit of notes on supposed prophecy fulfillments, or actually in this case, a lot of them are just supposed prophecies because, as we know, most of the things that are attributed as prophecy fulfillments were not actually prophecies.
Yeah, and also prophecy has a completely different meaning in modern culture than it does in like the context of the Old Testament.
Yeah. So that is one thing. In other news, I got into a very interesting discussion with a Muslim guy yesterday about the state of scholarship. And I was, talking about biblical scholarship, and they're not really into that whole field, right? But they still accept Moses, Abraham. Obviously we've been reading about this stuff, and when I say something like, oh yeah, most biblical scholars just don't think there was no Moses, they think there was no Abraham, no Jacob or Ishmael or Isaac or any of those guys, and they were super shocked by it. And I'm like, yeah, they think, whenever they think scholar, they think rabbi. And that's where I always have to go back to we have a fundamental disagreement about what scholars are. So when they say oh, our scholars say this, in my head, I'm like, okay, so your theologians say it, not your scholars. Well, because they have because scholar is more, broad and they're very studious. Right.
Well, scholar is a broad term now.
It is,
I would say that a rabbi is a scholar. They typically do hold a doctoral degree in divinities, right, in rabbinical studies.
I don't know what that entails, okay? I don't know what that means.
Read it a lot
and in-depth knowledge of Jewish liturgical subjects and Talmudic tradition.
However...
So it is a field of scholarly inquiry. It's just not biblical studies.
It's not critical scholarship is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So that can exactly. I think I agree with that take that you can be a scholar and a rabbi, or a scholar and a priest, or a scholar and a Muslim. But
can you be scholar and homeless?
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, but you can be those things, but just because you're a rabbi or just because you're a priest does not mean that you are.
No, not by necessity. No,
right, yeah.
Some organizations will require formal training, right? So I think Catholic priests have to be formally educated in Latin. They have to be formally educated in Greek.
That is true.
So they have to go over
usually, at least in my experience, usually just koine though.
Yeah, but they have to at least be familiar with subjects that would allow them to be able to engage deeply with biblical scholarship from a critical lens, but they don't necessarily apply that.
Right, because the thing is, when they're studying it, they do go in with those presuppositions. But either way, it is a new month.
Yes, and all of our $10 patrons over on Patreon.
Yeah, you know what they get to do? They get entered into a monthly T-shirt giveaway, and they get a T-shirt. One of them gets a T-shirt.
And this T-shirt will be a T-shirt of their choice from among our wonderful T-shirts.
Are available ones, unless I would say unless you're Landon, because Landon, he's not on the wheel anymore.
Yeah.
But he has gotten every shirt. In fact, every time that it would land on Landon, we'd have to get a new shirt designed.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we are liberated and
For now.
and we are free to decide when and how we will release a new shirt.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anyways, spinny
Wheelie.
wheelie.
Hold on.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. But we're spinning the wheel. We're seeing where it lands.
And where it lands? Well, tell us.
Looks like Paris.
Paris?
Paris.
Yeah, looks like Paris.
Paris, you're going to get a shirt.
Yeah, you're going to get a shirt, Paris. Congratulations.
Yep. Just Lawrence will reach out to you.
I will, yes.
Or you can reach out
Actually,
to Lawrence.
I think Paris won the shirt last time, too.
Dude, it went
Really?
it went around like 3
Think so.
times and then it hit her again.
Yeah. Congrats, Paris.
Yep. That wheel, this one time I didn't like that spin. I was unhappy with it. But okay, we're gonna it does what it does. Let's say usually I'm very happy with how many times it spins, but today
I mean, it's still spun a good amount of times.
sure.
But, yeah.
It's just it is just digital. So
Well, it's
that
definitely-
animation is just for our amusement.
It's true. Yeah, that is true.
It's completely binary in how it decides these things.
It's differently arranged now because there's a different amount of people on it.
Right,
So-
yeah.
It's going to be different.
But either way,
Yeah, it was a different looking wheel too. Anyways,
Slightly.
Yes.
So I have the study Quran, and I also have the Quran from the Quran Project and the Penguin Classics Quran.
I have the Quran from Abdullah Yusuf Ali, one from Mulana Muhammad Ali, and we also have the Quran and the Bible from Gabriel Said Reynolds.
We also have a thematic commentary on the Quran
Right.
from Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali.
Which I did not go over today, so whoops.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah, but luckily we have plenty of other commentary.
But we have an important subject coming up today.
Right, we're going to be talking about the Hajj.
Yeah.
And that, for those that don't know, is the actual pilgrimage.
Yeah.
At least once in a Muslim's life, if they are physically able to do so, they need to go on this pilgrimage to Mecca.
Yeah, it's like an important rite of passage thing.
Right, yeah. Like if you can't, like if you're bedridden or something, they're not going to make you do it. And according to their theology, God isn't going to be mad at you about it. But like ideally, that is the thing that you should be doing. Is that at some point in your life, at least once, you should go on the Hajj.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yes, it is in fact one of the 5 pillars.
So we're going to start today with
Yeah, I think so. Last time, hopefully Chris is all right back there. Seems to be destroying trash cans.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good for you. So last time we talked about the the punishments, I should say, for unbelievers. This
Yes.
time we're talking about rules for believers. So now, after we read this, we should definitely do that thing where we judge religious people based on their scriptures, you know? So we should definitely go do that afterwards.
yeah, we should do so. So let's see what is actually required.
Let's see what we can judge people on.
Oh, you who believe.
And this is on 178.
Yes.
Yeah.
Retribution is prescribed for you in the manner of the slain. Free man for free man. Slave for slave.
Oh, okay.
Female for female.
So this is the same as like an eye for an eye thing.
Mhm.
The retaliation is prescribed for you in the matter of the slain.
Well, I think that it's less of an eye for an eye thing and more of like a formalization of the social categorization of these different people, right?
Sure,
Free
yeah.
Men, women, slaves, right? These are different categories of people, and so different laws and different rules apply to them. It's not necessarily the case that they believe in like
Oh, it
a
also says here-
liberal society,
Right,
which
yeah.
liberalism would literally be some form of equality of all people under the law.
Yeah, it says here. Sorry, this translation opts for "O ye who believe the law of equality is prescribed to you in cases of murder." So it is more like lex talionis, eye for an eye, in cases of murder.
Yes. Now
this does seem like an
There's-
extension of the one that we get in Deuteronomy, because that one's like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's like person to person, but this is like person for person.
So they have different forms of compensation that would be paid out for different crimes based off of like if you're a man or if you're a woman as the victim of the crime.
Oh, it says means that the murderer should be put to death. Is just what it says here. This is just what that means. The murderer shall be put to death. Although the way it's worded, makes it seem like it's not just the murderer put to death, but like there is some equal retribution.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that it mentions slaves outright, right? So
Sure, that's one thing. Yeah.
yeah. And so they like formally have this categorization of slave that is recognized as legitimate as a categorization of person within their holy text, right? It's not like, you know,
This is an actual prescription, right? That's why it says here it's prescribed to you.
yeah,
in case of murder.
It's like the first prescription too.
Yeah.
So, anyways. But for one who receives any pardon from his brother, let it be observed honorably.
Oh, wait,
and
hold on. I actually
let the
do have,
restitution be made to him with goodness.
I actually do have something here. So as Michael Priel points out, the passage reflects not so much the biblical lex talionis as much as the new interpretation of lex talionis offered in Matthew 5. In both cases, the point is the moderation, so a remission and a mercy of a strict law. So let's see. You have heard how it was said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But I say this to you, offer no resistance to the wicked. On the contrary, if anyone hits you on the right cheek, offer... Okay, well, no, this is actually not that at all.
Oh, no.
Like, this is like the almost the antithesis.
Oh, no.
Like the one where it's like turn the other cheek. Because this one does not seem like it's turn the other cheek.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no.
Tarb, for the definition of liberalism, I'm using Fukuyama's liberalism, right? Which, if you want to get into Fukuyama, read, what was it? End of History and the Last Man. And he basically presents liberalism as a system of equal rights under the law between all individuals. So you can take it up with Fukuyama if you want. Anyways.
Yeah, it would, but I've never even heard that name before.
Francis Fukuyama. He's still alive.
Okay.
Yeah. So where was I?
The only Francis I know is Bacon, and that's because I love bacon.
I think I'm related to that guy.
He's an alchemist, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I was related to when I said I think I'm related to an alchemist.
Well, there you go.
There was that
Also,
one.
this is good tea.
Yeah, it is pretty good. There was that
Thank
one.
you. Thanks. I'm glad you like my...
Yes,
Yeah.
you did a great job brewing this tea.
I mean, I just mean the brand
You know-
taste.
you know,
my taste in tea
Chris,
is good.
Chris spent like 8 hours brewing this
No, I
tea
didn't.
for us. It's really good. He's
Using traditional tribal methods of tea brewing.
right. Yeah, he did a lot of research for it, and it's delicious. He
I
did
got
a
a
wonderful
spam
job.
collar.
You got a spam caller?
I got a spam collar. Want to put them on?
Let's see what happens.
What if it's not spam?
Is your mic on?
Hello? This is spam for sure. Awesome.
Okay. I'm not sure if they heard that.
No, probably not, but it sounded like an Indian guy.
Oh, okay. Sure. I didn't hear anything. So.
Well, he gave me a generic American name, Dan Walker. So
Oh,
I think he
okay.
said Microsoft. I couldn't quite hear him.
Oh, they say Microsoft. Okay.
That my Microsoft account. Of
Right.
course.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fun one.
I
If I didn't hear it at all, but if he said Microsoft, that is very funny.
Well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I didn't have this live stream right this second. It would be great. I would have had a good time trolling that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Would have been a hell of a show, though.
Nah, you couldn't hear him.
No, you couldn't. Anyways,
That's spam.
Yeah.
that
So if a free man, okay, so I guess if a free person kills someone, then that free person should be killed, and if a slave kills someone, that slave should be killed.
if
Same
a
with
woman
women.
kills someone, that woman should be.
Yeah.
That is an alleviation from your Lord and a mercy. Whoever transgresses after that shall have a painful punishment, right? If you're excused, then that's a mercy. But if you transgress after that, you'll have a painful punishment.
Of course.
Great. In retribution, there is life for you, O possessor of intellect, that haply you may be reverent.
Okay, so this is like, if there's life for you in retaliation. Okay, so like if this is for the dead, then like the dead should feel good that their murderer is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, like a family member or something, then they should also feel happy because the justice has been served.
Yeah.
Hooray.
But here, the words, possessor of intellect, translates ulul albab, which literally means possessors of the kernels, using the symbolism of the nut to show that wisdom is deeper than the shell.
Oh, okay.
It is prescribed for you when death approaches one of you, and he leaves some good, to make a bequest for parents and kinsfolk in an honorable way,
So if he
an
leaves,
obligation upon the reverend.
so if he leaves behind any property.
To make a bequest.
Like if you're getting old or whatever, if you're dying, prescribed for you when death approaches any of you, and he leaves behind any property, is that he make a bequest for his parents and relatives in an honorable manner, an obligation on the God-wary.
Yeah, so as a moral issue, bequests are to be made first to relatives and only secondarily to non-relatives. Early commentators severely condemned those who would leave relatives in need while giving property to non-relatives.
Oh, interesting here, though. Some commentators hold the opinion that the direction to make a bequest as contained in this verse is abrogated by 4:11, which fixes the shares of the heirs of the deceased person. A perusal of that verse shows clearly that it recognizes the validity of any bequest that may have been made, as a further evidence that the law of making a bequest was not abrogated by 4:11. Oh, he says C 5106. Let's see, where the calling of witnesses at the time of making a bequest is enjoined. In practice, however, traced to the prophet himself, the right to make a will as regards one's property has been subject to the condition that not more than a third of the property shall be bequeathed, and that those who take as heirs shall not be entitled to take under the bequest.
Prior to the institution of Quranic rules of bequesting and inheritance, the custom of Arabia was that male relations would inherit through the male line, called agnatic inheritance. The Quranic shares, which included the nearest male relatives, demoted the customary agnatic heirs to a secondary status in relation to the inheritance shares. They could still inherit under Sunni law, but only from the property left under the quota shares had been only from the property left after the quota shares had been distributed.
It is interesting how quickly we moved from murder to property rights.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Death
we're on
or
the subject
property.
of death. Yeah.
Sure, I guess we're on the subject of death, yeah.
I suppose.
Like if someone kills you and then also if you are about to die, sure, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see what else pops up.
Mm-hmm. Then, if anyone alters it after hearing it, its sin shall indeed be upon those who alter it. Truly, God is hearing, knowing.
So if someone changes your request after you die.
Yeah, you don't alter someone's will.
Right, yeah, that's just bad manners. I agree with that. That's really fucked up, actually.
Yeah, that is. I read about a case where a girl argued in court that her mother left more money to her brother than her because of her outdated sexist views. Apparently she won and was awarded money, thus altering the will.
Oh, that's funny.
posthumously.
That is quite
But
funny.
I don't know if it's true.
That is, yeah, that's funny.
Anyways,
Like who is getting? Is she suing her brother
I suppose she must have been.
or like the estate or
Or
something?
the estate.
You can do that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can sue an estate. I
Especially
suppose.
when it's still like in the air and right after someone dies and there's some stuff like that. There's legal precedent for that, but whatever.
Sure, yeah. So sue the estate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But
Well then.
I guess it can happen.
Yeah. Well, it can. Sure. Yeah. It's
Yeah, it does
just kind of
happen.
like a dick move.
No,
when it
like
does.
that's pretty. Yeah. Anyways.
But whosoever fears injustice or sin from the testator and sets matters aright between them, there is no sin upon him. Truly, God is forgiving, merciful. Oh, you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, that haply you may be reverent for days unnumbered.
Yeah, so interesting here though. It was prescribed for you, so that it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil.
Mhm. Now, these verses address some issues relating to the pre-Ramadan fasting practices of the Muslim community.
Oh, so this is pre-Ramadan. Okay.
As
guess it would be.
constituted in its final form, the obligatory fast of Ramadan is considered by all schools of law to be one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It consists of
Oh, I see.
abstaining.
This the next section afterward is about Ramadan. It says okay.
Abstaining from all food, drink, and sexual relations from dawn until sunset.
Yeah.
For all the days of the lunar month of Ramadan. In cases of hardship, including illness and travel, one can eat and drink and then make up for the lost day by fasting on another day after Ramadan, or by giving alms if one's unable to make up a fast, such as in the case of diabetics. Women who are pregnant, nursing, or menstruating are exempt from the fast, with varying rules for replacing or expiating for those lost days. The fast of Ramadan was imposed shortly before the Battle of Badr. So, okay.
Maybe we'll get to that then, because it does talk about the very next section is going to be about Ramadan.
Mhm. But if any one of you be ill or on a journey, then what?
He shall fast.
It is a number of other days, and for those who can bear it, the ransom of feeding an indignant person.
Yeah, let's see.
Whosoever volunteers good, that's better for him, and to fast is better for you, if you but knew.
So, that for known days. But should any of you be sick or on a journey. So this is for the fast. Let it be a similar number of other days. So you can make up for it later, I guess. Those who find it straining shall be liable to atonement by feeding a needy person. I see. So this gives you like, oh, if you just can't do it, you can replace it by doing some other kind of good.
That's why I get free food.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, by feeding a needy person. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When the prophet first came to Medina, it said that the community was fasting 3 days per month in addition to Ashura, the 10th day of Muharram.
It's funny because they didn't say like polite or nice or good person, just needy,
No, poor. Yeah, poor.
No, they didn't even say poor.
No, that's what needy means.
See, but I'm okay.
According to a hadith, when they arrived in Medina, they found Jews fasting on Yom Kippur the same day as Ashura, and the Prophet ordered the Muslims to fast that day, saying they had more right than Jews to celebrate Moses, though the commentaries are inconsistent about the nature of the Yom Kippur celebration.
It is interesting. So they give you like this way out, right? Which makes it easier than at least some of the stuff in the New Testament, not in the New Testament, in the Old Testament, just because it gives you like this other option to do. Mm-hmm. But like the thing is, if you don't have let's say you're needy, let's say you're poor, so you can't do necessarily like some almsgiving.
I can't.
And you also want to eat because you're barely eating because you're poor, so you're kind of screwed.
Like the middle
in
class,
that case,
maybe the middle class can still be needy. I don't know.
That maybe depends on how rich everyone else is.
The month of Ramadan is that wherein the Quran was sent down as guidance to mankind, clear proofs of guidance, and as the criterion. Let him among you who is present fast during that month.
Present.
And whosoever is ill or on a journey, it's a number of other days. God desires ease for you, and he does not desire hardship for you. It is so that you may complete the number and magnify God for having guided you, that haply you may give thanks.
So this is their big thank you to God is to fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this is specifically, it says here, say Ramadan is the month that this came down, but if this is Muhammad speaking to the people, right, or at least to a scribe writing this stuff down or something, then it would make sense to be like, this section would have been written when he was speaking to this guy, and he was telling him like, whoever is like around you at this time, like those are the people that should be fasting.
But you could interpret it as meaning that you must impose this upon all those who are around you.
Oh, it's true. You could. It is interesting, those two extremes.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Anyway, where it says to magnify God here, it's thought to refer to the practice of chanting extra formulas of takbir, the chanting of Allah Akbar, meaning God is great, or God is greater, or God is the greatest, which takes place after the fast of Ramadan is over. This magnification takes different forms, such as chanting formulas while on the way to the mosque for the Eid prayer, prayers on the morning after the last day of Ramadan, or repeating magnification after each prayer during the 3 days of Eid.
Oh, here's why. Okay, hold on. I actually have an interesting. This is an etiological story for it. I'm not sure about the truth value of it, but either way. So yeah, it's the 9th month of the Arabian year, Ramadan. The root meaning of Ramadan is excessiveness of heat. The month was so called because, quote, when they changed the names of the months from the ancient language, they named them according to the seasons in which they fell, and this month agreed with the days of it. Oh, okay, never mind. So I think I probably misread this when I said it was going to be an etiology. I think I misread this initially as excessiveness of like hearing, which that would have been great, but no, it says heat. Never mind. But either way, that is interesting that there was like a change in month names and stuff
Yep.
like that. That's still an interesting fact.
When my servants ask thee about me, truly, I am near. I answer the call of the caller when he calls me. So let them respond to me
What if it's
and
a- what if
believe
it's
in
a
me
scammer?
that they may be led aright. You are permitted on the nights of the fast to go unto your wives. They are a garment for you, and you are a garment for them. God knew that you were betraying yourselves, so he relented unto you and pardoned you. So now lie with them and seek what God has prescribed for you, and eat and drink until the white bread and black thread of the dawn becomes clear to you. Then complete the fast until nightfall, and do not lie with them while you are in retreat of the mosques. Those are the limits set by God, so approach them not. Thus does God make clear his signs to mankind, that haply they may be reverent.
So I'm trying to find some stuff on this.
Prescription of when you can have sex with your wife.
Yeah, on this garment thing. This
Ruben,
garment
remember
line.
those things you can't
Well, it
do?
Like,
refers
they
to
like some-
dawn and the night, the white thread and the black thread. The white
says here
thread
that-
is an idiom for the day. Various hadith describe the level of the light that indicates the start of daybreak and ends at night. Whether the indication is seeing light in the sky itself or the illumination
Yeah.
of the tops of mountains.
Yeah, thread or streak. The translation of drogue, quote, until a white thread may be discerned from a black thread at the dawn is more accurate. The Quran seems to be following a tradition known from the Mishnah Berakot 1:2, which explains that the Shema prayer, can be recited for one's morning obligation from the time that one can distinguish between blue and white wool. Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. Unfortunately, because when it says here that they're a garment, like that means that they are apparel for you. Is it just, like are they just like a nicety for you or something?
You're supposed to wear them.
Supposed to wear them, yeah,
You're supposed to put them on.
in a sexual way.
Yes.
Yes, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Mhm. And devour not your property among yourselves falsely, nor proffer it to judges, that you may knowingly devour a part of the people's property sinfully. So you can't bribe judges.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. They ask thee about the new moons. Say, they are markers of time for mankind and for the Hajj. It is not piety that you should come to houses from their rear, but piety is he who is reverent and comes into houses by their doors. So reverence God that haply you may prosper.
So we're talking about a lunar calendar here.
Yeah, we're looking at a lunar calendar. And
It begins with a new moon and ends with a new moon. The latter is followed by 3 months. Followed by 3 months. I'm gonna do my best to pronounce this, but I'm going to fail. With the new moon of Shawwal, the latter is followed by 3 months, Dula Qada, Dula Hijjah, with which the year closes, and Muharram, the first month of the new year. These three, along with Rajab, the 7th month of the year, form the 4 sacred months, which are referred to here in the word Ahila, meaning the new moon. So plural of Hilal. So these are just referring to all of these sacred months, I guess.
Also, as for the sexual rules, prior to this revelation, marital relations were unlawful during nights preceding fasting. Some were unable to refrain and secretly disobeyed.
Okay.
But
Because you're
didn't
not gonna
deceive God.
You're not gonna stop people from fucking.
No, it's not going to happen no matter what you do.
They're
Now
just
I'm going to
keep
hand
going.
it off to you.
Sure.
And I have commentary about this whole next section, verses 190 through 194.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
I'm going to let you get into it, and then I'm going to get into it.
I'm gonna read from Reynolds here, actually.
Okay.
So let's see, 190.
Yeah, and maybe he'll have some good commentary on this too.
Unfortunately, Reynolds has barely anything here.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So, fight in the way of God those who fight you, but do not transgress. Indeed, God does not like the transgressors. And kill them wherever you confront them, and expel them from where they expelled you. For persecution is graver than killing. But do not fight them near the holy mosque, unless they fight you therein. But if they fight you, kill them. Such is the requital of the faithless. Oh boy. All right, that is quite the statement.
Continue on
and
for the
this
next couple of verses. Go on through 190.
Yeah, those who fight you. So it does, if they are literally taking it, then it is in self-defense.
Yes.
But if they desist, God is indeed all forgiving, all merciful. Fight them until persecution is no more and religion becomes exclusively for God. Then, if they desist, there shall be no reprisal except against the wrongdoers. So you want me to keep going, right?
Yeah, through one more verse.
Okay. A sacred month for a sacred month. I see what they're doing there. And all sanctities require retribution. So should anyone aggress against you, assail him in the manner he assailed you, and be wary of God, and know that God is with the God-wary. So this is interesting, right? So they took up that murder language from before. Mm-hmm. So now they're saying, like, if someone is not allowing you to celebrate a sacred month,
yes,
then you can take away a sacred month from them. Mm-hmm. Well, it's different, right? Because it says to do it in the way that they do to them what they do to you. So if they, you do have, you can absolutely kill them if they're attacking you. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a few other things, it does seem like this sacred month for sacred month thing.
Yeah, well, hold on here.
Okay, go ahead.
Many of the issues raised in this passage are addressed in an essay later on in the book, but verse 190 is considered by some to be the first verse in the chronological order of Revelation to permit fighting.
Oh, okay.
Though others dispute this opinion and consider the first such passage to be 22:39. Permission is granted to those who are fought because they have been wronged. Among those passages that have previously forbidden fighting, some list 41:34. Repel evil with that which is better. Then behold,
thank you.
the one between whom and thee there is enmity shall be as if he were a loyal protecting friend. There are other such verses. Some report that these verses were revealed in connection with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah.
Yes, I do have a comment on that.
In 628, the Muslims set out from Medina, from Mecca, in order to perform the Umrah, the lesser pilgrimage, but were met on the road by the Meccans at Hudaybiyah.
Oh, yeah, I think I asked someone about the Umrah once. You can just take it whenever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a prescribed time or anything like that.
Yeah. There they came to an agreement that the Muslims would turn back, but would be allowed to return to perform the Umrah the following year. Then, as the time for that approached, Some grew apprehensive about going to Mecca, fearing attack, and being called upon to fight in a sacred precinct during the sacred months. This verse was then revealed in order to set the guidelines for engagement. Many commentators use this passage to discuss the usual rules of war, such as the prohibition against killing women, children, monks, hermits, the chronically ill, old men, and peasants. For example, Ibn Abbas says, "Do not kill women, children, old men, or those who offer peace and restrain their hand. If you do that, you will have transgressed against them." The Umayyad Caliph Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz commented on this passage in a letter, saying that it meant, "Fight not those who do not fight you." This passage is among the most direct in describing the limits of warfare. Muslims are commanded to fight those who fight them first, to expel those who first expel them. But in doing so, they are subject to limits. In transgress against him in like manner as he transgressed against you. The transgression that Muslims are ordered to commit is not seen as illegitimate, as the verb transgress, itada, would ordinarily imply. It is rather a legitimate response to aggression, and in the sense could also be correctly translated as attack him in like manner as he attacked you. This is similar to the message of 16:126. And if you would punish, then punish with the like of that wherewith you were punished.
Yeah, I think they are taking this this eye for an eye kind of mentality.
Yes. But among the acts considered worse than slaughter, so being worthy
is
of
this still a commentary,
death,
right?
Yes, this is still commentary. So these are things that would be like, you can be killed for this.
Sure, yeah, because these things are apparently worse than killing.
Yes. Are disbelief,
Okay.
idolatry, becoming an apostate from Islam in favor of idolatry,
Okay.
as these things lead to perdition in the hereafter.
So does it give you like references to like hadith or like?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
The phrase could also mean that some fighting is now better in a state, a strife that would lead to even greater fighting and death later, an important idea in later Islamic political philosophy. The commentators typically gloss strife as idolatry, shirk, and hence also interpret the end of fitna here to mean the end of that idolatry. Some also reason that if they desist means if they stop being idolaters and become Muslims. Though
I mean, the context that we've seen now, it seems like desisting means if they stop like persecuting or attacking you.
Yeah, but I guess the way that they interpret this in accordance with a whole bunch of other passages that they relate to is that the practice of idolatry,
right,
or apostasy, or just being a non-believer,
right, yeah,
is a transgression against them personally. Yeah. And so it justifies...
Oh, so I see that if they understand those things as equivalent or as worse, that gives them the justification to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So if a Muslim is watching this and that Muslim feels that we have attacked their faith, and we are disbelievers, then that Muslim may view that in accordance with this verse as justification for killing us.
Sure, yeah. Because they see that as a equal retribution.
Mm-hmm. If they agree with this commentator.
That.
Yeah. Which, that's not great.
It's not. I mean, luckily, the vast majority of Muslims I know have not done anything like that, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But,
well,
or at least not acted on it.
I mean, they haven't killed you.
Right, they haven't killed me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yet.
Most of them, at least.
Yeah, most of them haven't killed me. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Now, those few that have.
You know, I keep coming back. Hold on. I get knocked down, and I get up again.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever going to keep me down.
Yep.
When I get knocked down, I get back up again.
I'm sorry for loss.
Anyways, why don't you continue on with the next verse 195.
195. I suppose I can do that. Spend in the way of God, and do not cast yourselves with your own hands into destruction, and be virtuous. Indeed, God loves the virtuous. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm. Is it? I don't know.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's talk about it for 48 minutes.
Complete the Hajj and the Umrah, which we talked about, for God's sake. And if you are prevented, then make such sacrificial offering as is feasible. And do not shave your heads until the offering reaches its assigned place. I suppose I'll finish the verse and then we can get into it.
Do so.
But should any of you be sick or have a hurt in his head, hey, I love that, a hurt in his head, let the atonement be by fasting or charity or sacrifice. And when you have security for those who enjoy release from the restrictions by virtue of their umrah until the Hajj, let the offering be such as is feasible. As for someone who cannot afford the offering, let him fast 3 days during the Hajj and 7 when you return. That is a period of 10 complete days. That is for someone whose family does not dwell by the holy mosque. And be wary of God and know that God is severe in retribution.
Yes.
So the thing is, okay. So they fairly say, here is what you ought to be doing. But if you can't do it, you can do these other things. And if you can't do those things, you can do these other things. But we already talked about kind of the issues of like, if you're not in a position to really do any of it, it would probably be kind of rare. But this is like at some point in your life, right?
Yeah.
This seems to be like a kind of whenever thing.
So as for head shaving.
Yes, the head shaving.
Yes, at Hudaybiyah, when the Prophet and his companions were hindered from making the Umrah, they shaved their heads and sacrificed their animals there, not in Mecca as they ordinarily would have done. Because of this fact, some maintain that for the offering to reach its place means for it to reach the place where it will be eaten.
Right. So the thing is, it has to be already offered where the receiver acknowledges it as the offering. Otherwise, you're kind of still restricted. That makes sense.
Now, others argue that depending on the circumstances, a sacrifice should actually reach Mecca before one shaves one head or cuts one's hair, which is the final act of the Umrah, although it's not obligatory. Since one who is sick is exempted from the Hajj and Umrah in any case, it would seem that being hindered, which can cause illness, refers to hindrances that arise after one has already set out in a state of ihram.
Yeah. So I see this. Yes. So the shaving of the head is a sign of the pilgrimage getting out of the state of ihram. In case of prevention, the offering should be sent to the sacred house. Or if this is not possible, should be sacrificed where the pilgrims are detained. And then there's a section here about this. If anyone is taken ill after putting on the ihram, so that he has to put on other clothes. Wait, hold on. If anyone is taken ill after putting on the ihram, so that he has to put on other clothes. Or if he has trouble or skin disease in his head or insects in his hair, and he has to shave his head before completion, he should fast. Okay, yeah. So this is part of the actual. This is part of like the actual as part of any pilgrimage, it seems.
Anyways, why don't you continue on?
Yeah. The Hajj season is in months well known. So whoever decides on Hajj, the Hajj pilgrimage therein, should know that there is to be no sexual contact, vicious talk, or disputing during the Hajj. Didn't we just read that? Or something like that? Or did you read that?
It was like that when it came to Ramadan as well.
Oh, right. Okay, it was like that for Ramadan. Okay. Yeah, whatever good you do, God knows it, and take provision, for God-wariness is indeed the best provision. So be wary of me, O you who possess intellects. That's another thing. That's actually I didn't mention. Like at the end, of the last verse, it said, "And be wary of God, and know that God is severe in retribution." That sounds like a threat in context. So I did forget to mention that it sounds like a threat.
It is a threat.
Yeah. So unless you have comments on that,
No.
I'm currently seeing if I do, if I have anything like.
It's pretty straightforward.
It is, yeah,
I mean,
because we
have a
just talked about this
return
stuff
to
before.
the theme of the possessors of intellect, which is like
Right.
people like Gnostics, right?
Yeah,
You're special people who have special knowledge, and therefore you're part of our special club.
True. Which, by the way, as we all know, the Gnostics are very much special. They're the smartest people out there.
Yep.
They're Gnostics.
Yep.
They know more than you do.
They've got that gnosis.
They do have the gnosis. That sounds like it should be a song.
We should get a shirt like the Got Milk shirts, but got gnosis.
Oh, true. God, no, that's actually kind of good. I was thinking, like, you know that what was that site you sent me? It was the one where they were making AI songs.
Oh, Suno.
Suno.
Yeah. So if we did one like, you know, there's like Baby Got Back. What if it's like Baby Got Gnosis? Would that work?
Maybe.
It might.
Maybe. It might.
But I think on the site that says they're not allowed to like do parodies or something.
No, I think so.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
But you know what? We could try it anyways. See what happens.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna continue on though. So 198. There is no sin upon you in seeking your Lord's bounty during the Hajj season. Then, when you stream out of Arafat, remember God at the holy Mashar, and remember him as he has guided you.
The holy Mashar is the sacred ground.
Sacred. Oh, okay, sure. So is it like the Holy Land?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And remember him as he has guided you. And earlier you were indeed among the astray.
Okay, yeah. So when you're
doing and the Arafat is the place where the pilgrims assemble.
Mm-hmm.
During the on the 9th Dhul-Hijjah.
Mm-hmm.
So in that month. It is at a distance of about 9 miles from Mecca. Here the vast gathering from all countries and nations clad in one dress with one utterance. I'm not going to try to read that.
Oh, no.
But here's okay. So here I am, O Allah, in thy presence. There's a translation. So that is much better that they have the translation. I wasn't gonna attempt that, but either way. So this is the place where they gather. When you stream out of there, remember God at the Holy Land. Yeah, or in the Holy Land.
Yes.
So 199 here. Then stream out from where the people stream out and plead to God for forgiveness. Indeed, God is all forgiving, all merciful. And when you finish your rites, remember God as you would remember your fathers, or with a more ardent remembrance. I would think that it would have to be with a more ardent remembrance for God.
Typically.
You'd think.
Yeah.
But this is this kind
of
the
rite here.
Go
And it says finish your rite. It refers to the sacrifice of animals.
Yeah. Finish your any kind of sacrifice or really any kind of ritual rite.
The feast of sacrifice, marking the end of the Hajj.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. Yeah. I also did want to point out here, so this respect that's given to your fathers, and to God, and it being at least a similar respect, it seems.
Some interpret this to mean that one should call upon and remember God in the way that a small child calls upon mother and father in a state of helplessness, utter dependence, and trust.
Well, that doesn't seem self-sufficient.
No, it's not. They're literally, it means submission.
I know. All right. I was just checking some of these commentaries to see if there was anything like super telling. It doesn't seem that there is. So continuing on here, with oh yeah, I'm still on 200. See, when you finish your rites, remember God as you would remember your fathers, or with a more ardent remembrance. Among the people, there are those who say, "Our Lord, give us," our Lord, give us in this world.
Give to us in this world.
Okay,
in
yeah,
this translation.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this is either a typo or just bad translating. So give to us in this world. But for such, there is no share in the hereafter. Okay. So this is the same kind of shtick we get with, like, material things and like not worrying about the stuff that's going on here and now. There's another world that we got to worry about.
So if you would ever actually pray for something that could manifestly like show up in real life.
Yeah, no.
That's not good.
Well, because here's the thing. It says... this would have to be for something physical, I think, because just knowing where this tradition comes from, it would make sense to stand in line with earlier Christian works.
Yeah.
At least in this sense, the what's it called? Like more ascetic types of works. So yeah, continuing on here with 201. And among them, there are those who say, "Our Lord," I'm guessing give to us also here.
No.
No, okay, fine. Our Lord I see. Give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the fire. Such shall partake of what they have earned, and God is swift at reckoning. So this is the more like they get what they deserve thing, right?
So it's reported that one of the most often repeated supplications of the prophet was, "Our Lord, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and protect us from the fire." This supplication is also frequently repeated by Muslims in their individual prayers and appears often in books of prayer.
Yeah, it says this is the true Muslim's prayer.
Good in this verse renders hasana, which, like many other words derived from the root hsn, has the sense of that which is beautiful.
Yeah, it says here, Islam offers a middle course between materialism and and monkery. So being a monk. So you have to, both be asking for things now and afterwards. If you're just asking for things now, you're a dick. And then this one, it seems...
stuff now?
Oh my God, what a dick.
Well, it's also that, like, in your prayers, when you pray, you should pray not only for right now, but also for the afterlife as well.
Right, sure. I think, I guess that's the end of the reading for the day, huh?
Yeah.
Or is there? No, there's one more.
One more verse.
There's one more
that
verse.
last
Sorry.
verse in there.
One more verse. Remember God in the appointed days.
The appointed days refers to the 11th through the 13th of Dhul Hijjah, which
so this
pilgrims spend at Mina, often called the days of Tashriq, a word of uncertain derivation and hence difficult to translate.
Okay,
These
so
are
during
3
the
days after the day of sacrifice, not including that day. And during those days, one rite that the pilgrims perform is to cast stones at columns representing Satan.
Oh, okay. You know, that it sounds kind of fun to be part of that.
Continue.
Although, so this is during the Hajj. During the pilgrimage. And the appointed days. Then whoever hastens off in a couple of days, there is no sin upon him, and whoever delays, there is no sin upon him. If you're all done with all the things you have to do whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like you can leave, you can stay, whatever. There's nothing bad's gonna happen.
Do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
That should have been the first thing they said.
Right, yeah.
And I don't think they needed to say anything else after that either.
Whoever delays a couple days, there's no sin upon him, and whoever delays, there is, whoever stays, there's no sin upon him. Whoever leaves right away, there's no sin upon him. That for one who has been God-wary, and be wary of God, and know that toward him you will be mustard, and I will be ketchup.
You will be mustard.
I'm
You will
not
be gathered.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is the end of the readings for today. Yeah. So we are now more than 2/3 of the way through the second.
Right, we're actually getting kind of close. No, never mind.
It's 283 verses.
Oh, yeah, we got a little bit to
83,
go.
80 more verses. Yeah, so maybe 2 episodes, maybe 3.
Yeah,
maybe probably
episodes.
Yeah.
We'll
Let's
see
how much we got through already.
Yeah, but we're getting a fair way through the Quran already. If you recall, the second surah is a significant percentage of the Quran.
It really, really is. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, such that once. Oh, not 283, but in this one it goes on to 286.
Okay, well, either way,
it's 283,
probably not a
286. We'll
huge
get there.
difference.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, like this whole section of the first 60 pages.
This one's also 286. I'm pretty sure you might just be misremembering it or something.
Oh, well, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, it is a significant percentage of the Quran already. And so far, I am not very impressed.
You know what? I think now that we're out of the really poor retelling of the stuff in the Torah, or at least the stuff in the Bible, I should say, it's better because at least it's more coherent.
But
you can tell that this isn't something about you can tell this isn't something he's just like vaguely remembering at this point.
But if you go into the commentaries, sometimes you'll get to like very strange and dramatic conclusions that I don't think you would get to just reading the text alone.
So the one that you're probably referring to, right? The one where it's like, the worst of the worst things that are worse than murder. Is that the one? Is that one of the ones you're referring to? At least?
Yeah.
So, like for that one, I'm pretty sure they would take that information from other places. Like they probably don't pull it just from one verse.
Right. They're taking it from a variety of sources.
Yeah.
So if you're just reading the Quran though for the first time, you won't necessarily get those references.
Right. Yeah.
So check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Discord. Buy our T-shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are there mugs?
Do all that.
I like to
Are there mugs?
We have the one mug.
Buy our mug.
Get that mug.
Our one mug. I'm sure it works as a mug.
Use it to store warm liquids
Functional.
that you drink that are not poisonous.
It'll probably sound like this.
Well, actually, you could put poison in there.
If you flick it, it'll sound like this.
Don't associate our brand with poison.
That's a good point, yeah. Anyways.
Unless it's the band.
That would be
Poison
cooler,
is a band.
yeah.
We could have them on the show.
Yeah, right.
Do you think they'd read the Quran with us?
No.
I doubt it. But that would be fucking wild
Who do
if they
you think
did.
we could get?
Hey, guys, you're being
We could
toxic.
get like what?
Nice.
Ted Nugent.
Oh, I don't want to get Ted Nugent. That guy sucks.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Do all the things that he said. All the links are in the description, and we will see you on Wednesday. That's in 1 week. That's another Wednesday.